What's going on, everyone? Hope you're all having a great day. One of the saddest deaths in all of Star Wars was Padme's at the end of Revenge of the Sith. But how did Padme actually die, as it's never explicitly said in the movie? Let's dive into it. Now, there's many fan theories about how Padme actually died, but one fan theory I think was pretty cool and was actually one I believed as a kid, was that Palpatine drained Padme's life force for Vader to live. As if you look really closely, as Padme takes her final breath, Vader takes his first in his new suit. Well, I think this is pretty cool and would add an interesting twist to everything, but there just isn't a ton of evidence to back this up. This theory could add a whole element into the way to cheat death. However, this isn't the way Padme actually died. During Revenge of the Sith, right before Padme died, the medical droids didn't have an answer for why she was dying, and the only sort of explanation we got in the film was Palpatine telling Vader that in his anger, he killed Padme. Well, Palpatine was sort of right from a certain point of view. The real reason Padme died is from a broken heart, which is something that can happen in real life. In the book, Star Wars Archives by Paul Duncan, there's a part of the book where George Lucas and Paul Duncan talk about Padme losing the will to live. Before their conversation, George talks a bit about some of the deleted scenes in Revenge of the Sith and how Padme helped plant the seeds of the rebellion. George goes on to tell Paul that Padme's soul has been crushed. The thing that breaks Padme's heart in the end is that Anakin says to her, "Come and join me. I have all the power now, and I can rule the universe, and you can do it with me." The whole idea of saving her has now become a minor issue, and this is not what she wanted, and this is not the guy she fell in love with. In the beginning, Anakin did all these terrible things to gain power in the dark side to save Padme from dying. But that quickly turned from, "I need to save my wife," to now he wants to take over the galaxy. In Padme's eyes, Anakin had turned into a monster and has done unspeakable things, which Anakin told her was to protect her, which is just super manipulative. And Anakin is just a completely different person now at this point, which crushed Padme's will to live. As George Lucas once said, "Nobody who's evil thinks of themselves as evil." Also, in the Legends book, Coruscant Nights 2, Streets of Shadows, there were conflicting reports on Padme's death, but one thing was for certain, that she was strangled and the child had died along with her. However, there were no signs of bruising on her neck, and no indication of exterior trauma at all. It was somehow like she was choked to death without physical contact. Now, it's pretty likely that Palpatine had changed the autopsy report so that if Vader ever read about it, he would know that it was his fault, just like Palpatine told him, so this was just another way to bind Vader to the dark side. Well, saving Padme's life was Anakin's main motivation to gain power in the dark side. Her death was the thing that nearly sealed Anakin's fate forever. But in the end, it was the love of his son that saved Vader and helped break Anakin free of his dark chains and fulfill his destiny as the Chosen One. Padme's death was one of the saddest deaths in all of Star Wars. It wasn't because of Palpatine draining her life force or that Anakin choked her to death. It was due to the fact that her heart was shattered and she lost the will to live because of what Anakin had become. But let me know what you think of George's explanation for Padme's death, and if you had any personal theories about how she died. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.